Kochie's Business Builders is proudly brought to you by our partners Peugeot and Dell, who are helping small businesses grow.
This week on Kochie's Business Builders, Whole Kids founder Monica Meldrum joins me as co-host. It's gin at first sight when Holly Ransom drops into Tiny Bear Distillery, and JJ Ferrari shares how we can transition from fear to success. G'day and welcome to another great episode of Kochie's Business Builders, where we take a look at the issues facing small business owners and come up with practical advice and tips to help them succeed. Joining me today as co-host is Monica Meldrum. If you're a parent, I'm pretty sure her Whole Kids brand has saved you from a lunchbox nightmare or two over the years. Whole Kids is organic and sustainable and was the very first food business in Australia to receive B Corp status. So why was it so important to get and receive B Corp status? And why should all business owners be thinking about their impact? Monica joins us now. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, David.
B Corp, just explain what it is for people.
Sure. So B Corp is a certification for businesses who want to balance profit and purpose, and it's about social and environmental impact and making a difference throughout the world. It's a certification that measures to the highest standards of social environmental impact, but also standards for transparency and authenticity.
Yeah, so how do you go through it and how long does it take?
Yeah, so there's a certification process. So it looks not only at social and environmental impact, but it looks at everything to do with community, employees, sustainability. There's a series of questions you go through and an audit you take that takes place, and every 3 years you have to recertify. So it's a whole process of continuous improvement where your success in achieving impact is really measured.
So why did you do it?
Well, as a kids business, we talk a lot about the impact that we're having on future generations, and for us it was a really important part of who we are and who we stand for.
Good on you. Monica, stay with us because we catch up with a small business that's carving out a niche in the craft alcohol space. Tiny Bear Distillery is a local gin distillery based just outside of Melbourne. Former teacher David Koch combined his passion for science with his love of gin to produce an artisan product that is really kicking goals. Business is booming, but building a team to support this rapid growth has been a challenge. Monica, finding staff that are a good cultural fit and also have the expertise is tough for anyone at the moment. What are some of the tips that you can give us that you use?
I think for someone like Damien and his business, it's really important that purpose and mission are front and centre. So he embeds that into his recruitment process and he talks about that. But I think also finding good employees who are as passionate requires going outside traditional methods of recruitment. So looking to your customers, networking, broadening his network to, be looking for like-minded people who can potentially join his organisation.
That's a really good tip. No one ever thinks of that, do they, as potential employees, but a customer's already built a link and a relationship with
That's right. I think some of your customers, and we find, are your biggest advocates. So it's really important to look to that network.
Great tips. And to help Damien with his growing pains, we've sent business strategist Holly Ransom in to see just how she can help Tiny Bear as well.
So we're at our distillery in Knoxfield where we produce our gin and our whiskey and all our delicious spirits.
Great, can you show me how it's done?
Let's do it.
So, Damien, it's pretty incredible that, 4 years ago, none of this existed.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting the last 4 years, from a start-up to where we are now at Tiny Bear Distillery.
5 years ago, you were a teacher, right?
Yeah, I was a high school chemistry teacher. It's definitely a change of working with kids who don't want to be at school to, working with adults who love what they do and bringing people in and having a lot of fun.
So why, how gin? How did Tiny Bear come to life?
I've always been obsessed with spirits. So it's not just gin, it's probably spirits overall. It's the science of how we do it is what I'm in love with first, but then the products we create is my second love.
So 4 years in, tell me about the team. How many people are working for Tiny Bear and who makes up the core team?
So we have several production staff who are distilling, bottling, labelling, and then running through tastings. And then we have a second venue, which is a bar and a bottle shop, where we've got a second spot of team, I guess, which is a craft bar, craft bottle shop. So you think cocktails, think Australian-produced spirits, Australian-produced beers, wines.
I'm just thinking about all the news that must have come into your world over the last 4 years, going from being in the classroom to running a small business. What's been the biggest challenge for you over that journey, would you say?
The biggest challenge is always finding and working with staff. There's a lot of versatility in what we do because we've got production here, we've also got front of house, we've got tastings. You can have someone who's awesome at creating a product but not the most comfortable working with customers in a market where unemployment's really quite low. It's hard to find staff. It's hard to find staff that want to do all the different things we need them to do.
And talk to me a bit about market forces. What's the competition like in your space?
The market is constantly changing. 4 years ago when we started, there was a minute amount of producers in Victoria. That number since then has probably tripled, quadrupled. So
wow.
there's a hell of a lot of movement in the Australian spirits industry. But with that increased presence, there's also increased demand for Australian-produced products.
So I'd love to delve a little bit more into the people challenges, but first I'm really eager to understand the actual process side of the business. Can you talk me through it?
Yeah, of course. So we're currently standing in front of our fermenters, but let's actually get into the distillery and I'll run you through how we do it all. So when it comes to producing gin, it's basically a three-step process. We have to ferment, which was in front of the tanks where we were before, but the backbones of it is yeast eating sugar and producing alcohol. So in those big tanks, we add those ingredients and we leave them for about 2 weeks. We then pump into these two stills here, where we basically boil the ingredients.
Gotcha.
So the alcohol boils, it turns to a gas and it travels up these columns. And we're then able to collect that gas on the other side and we're able to collect the alcohol at about 95% proof.
That whole piece you just talked us through there is pretty unique to what Tiny Bear do and how you work.
Yeah, very early on we made the decision to do every single step ourselves, and that process is quite an expensive process, but it gives us a different product. It gives us a product that is uniquely ours.
And can you tell me about the tasting room?
Yeah, so we've got a small tasting space here for about 18 seats, but we do have a bigger tasting lounge up the road where we're able to get in a lot more people and show them our products.
What's the capacity of that?
So that's 70 seats in that one compared to about 18 here.
Great. Can we go have a look?
Yeah, let's go.
Recent research by SAP has found that a team culture of curiosity could deliver business benefits. According to the Capitalising on Curiosity report, businesses that have a more curious culture have experienced up to 3 times the turnover growth and have up to twice the employee satisfaction and engagement. They also fare better when facing challenges. So, Monica, given these results, do you think curiosity is unlocking, if you like, an organisation's true potential?
Absolutely, I do. I think at the heart of any founder or entrepreneur's journey is curiosity. That's, encourage them to do things differently or to innovate or discover. And so I think it's a really important thing that businesses can use, particularly in challenging times, to unleash the power of a business. And when coupled with data, is something that can be really incredibly powerful.
It all starts with sort of establishing that culture right from the very start, does it?
Absolutely.
How do you do it? How do you introduce it into your culture?
Yeah, I think there's a few ways. I think you need to role model curiosity. I think you need to allow people to take risks, to fail. In our business, there's no such thing as a bad idea. I think you need to recruit for curiosity. That's really important. And I think you need to reward it as well.
It's also hard in tough times, isn't it? Because in tough times, you go into risk mitigation mode, don't you?
You do, yeah.
You sort of can't afford a mistake. but you've got to overcome that, don't you?
Yeah, and I think it's about playing the long game. So I think in challenging times, there's this want to fix things and to become very reactive, but you've got to resist becoming reactive and almost still foster that curiosity within the business and allow that, so that longer term, the business is innovating and it's discovering and it's doing new things despite the, almost the challenges that are directly there in front of you.
And do you think cultivating a culture of curiosity comes down to the diversity of your staff as well and being conscious of that?
Absolutely. I think it's really important to bring in new perspectives, new ideas, to have a diverse workplace. It's just so important, a range of ages within the workforce and people who look at things differently, and encouraging that, problem solving from different angles to come up with ideas and innovation.
Such great points, Monica. Thank you for that. All right, now let's hear how your business can grow its client list. Tracy Sheen shares her tips on making the most of virtual summits.
One of the big issues we have as small business owners is we're often so focused on bringing in new clients that we actually forget about our existing clients. So I want to introduce you to the idea of virtual summits. Now, over the last couple of years, we've probably all become fairly friendly with Zoom. So virtual summits is kind of like that next level from a standard Zoom meeting. Now, there's a ton of virtual summit software out there and available. I like a platform called AirMeet, but there are also other ones. You can even use Zoom, and all you're going to do is run almost back-to-back sessions where you're talking about the thing in your business that you know is going to add value for your small business communities. So I guess what I'm saying is just try to think outside the box a little bit about ways that you can be engaging and talking to your clients in a different way.
Hi everyone, I'm Rod Harris, CEO and founder of Fan Plus. Fan Plus is an experience platform that connects fans with sporting clubs, athletes and personalities to create unprecedented and amazing experiences. What we did with Fan Plus to launch it was try and create money can't buy experiences but can buy for fans to access unprecedented experiences with athletes and personalities. So that could be playing around golf with an NRL legend, kicking the footy down at your local park with an AFL player. So it was all about interactions and face-to-face connections with your favourite personalities. We want to be an experience platform that connects a fan with a personality or an athlete. So you're connecting with the best of the best. So last weekend, we actually had a training clinic with 10 fans and they got to box with Tim Tszyu. Tim's obviously on the rise to hopefully become a world champion very, very soon. And the fans and the parents that attended could not believe that their child was boxing with Tim Tszyu. We launched Fan Plus in 2019 and got off to a really good start. When we started, we had a pretty basic website, so we invested a lot of time in the tech and delivering the website that we currently have today. So 2019 was looking great. We had some great experiences. We had some great partnerships here in Australia with clubs and also internationally. And then we hit COVID and our revenue dried up. We couldn't participate in experiences, borders were shut down. We were lucky there was government support around there that we were able to tap into. We also had a great investor group around our business that obviously gave us good advice and helped us open up a few doors and new opportunities. The advice that I would give and what I've certainly learned as a startup founder is follow your dreams and passions and don't hold back. I guess I came from a secure corporate job, and for me to sort of go out and start a startup was quite daunting and challenging, and you've got to think of family, you've got to think of financial implications, but it's the best thing I've done. We've got some really exciting opportunities that we're working on. So now that we're kind of bouncing back post-COVID, we want to get our team back up to where we were pre-COVID, acquire new experiences and grow our experiences. So look at new genres, new demographics. We want to connect with leading people in all sorts of fields, not just sports and entertainment. It could be business, it could be high performance. So we really want to open up that opportunity of experiences across all type of genres, and really look at getting back to experiences internationally where we were pre-COVID around people travelling overseas, so sitting courtside at an NBA game, visiting the English Premier League and going to a Manchester United game. We were doing quite a lot of that pre-COVID, and with borders shut, you know, there was no opportunity for us to sell these type of experiences, so we really want to reconnect and grow our international offering to where we were in 2019.
Hi, my name is JJ Ferrari, and I'm an executive performance coach, keynote speaker, and the owner of Dance Monkey, a digital marketing agency. Fear is a very difficult obstacle to master, but I have 3 skills that I teach people that initially shows them how to recognize fear and then how to overcome it. So the first skill is teaching someone to cultivate a bigger, more important emotion than the fear that they're feeling. The idea behind this is to fill the body and fill the mind with positive emotion and energy, squeezing fear out of the way so that you can think more clearly or take a different action. The second skill is learning to focus through fear. When you can focus through fear, it simply means that you can make better decisions when you're under pressure. Being able to control your focus under pressure means that you can eliminate mistakes. It means that you can reduce stress, improve your communication, and your creativity. The third skill I use when I can't get someone to break their fear. What we do is we get you to write down all the horrible things that you're imagining are going to happen on paper so that you can actually look at them and see what you've been thinking and what you've been saying to yourself. By writing down the positive and the negative scenarios that are possible, it gives you a chance to understand that you have more choice and more opportunities than you've been letting yourself think. And it also lets you have better control over your mind and the situation than you've been letting yourself believe. For more ideas on conquering your fears, go to cuppa.tv.
We're back to see how our business expert, Holly Ransom, can help Tiny Bear Distillery owner David Anderson.
So tell me about where we are now.
So we're sitting upstairs at Tiny's Bar and Bottle Shop. This is our upstairs bar, where it kind of does a little bit of the tasting for the distillery, but it also functions as a cocktail lounge.
And so what business problem did this solve, or what opportunity was this seizing for you?
So this gave our customers a place to come to us outside of our hours of the distillery. So this is open late at night, this is open, you know, Tuesday to Sunday, and it also increases the profit margin on the products that we make.
What's keeping you up at night at the moment?
Cash flow would be my #1 thing that keeps me awake at night. It's great in spring through to, you know, February when the weather's good, because people are out drinking, people are out having a good time. But then when you get into the leaner times, you've still got the same amount of staff you want to keep on. You've still got expensive expenses. If anything, production increases because we've got the staff to do it, which mean then production costs increase.
And you've been saying as well to me that it's really been a new level of people challenge since the start of the year with just the difficulty getting staff.
Yeah, difficult getting staff, and then those that you can get, training, and it's very hard to do that across 2 different spaces.
And so is the challenge attracting staff full stop, or is it retaining staff?
I would say it's attracting staff, so attracting the right staff members who are open to, you know, being a jack of all trades. And then once we've got them, we're building up that strength, building up that communication, building up that ability to work in a really diverse environment.
And from a people standpoint, how are you trying to tackle the difficulty on the staff shortage at the moment? What's the strategy?
Create an environment that is something that people want to work in.
So I think to close out today, there'd be 2 things that'd be really great to focus on during my next visit. One would be, I think it would be great to have a conversation around this kind of strategic discipline, for the want of a better phrase. So we talked about cash flow challenges, the different opportunities you have ahead of you now for growth. It'd be really useful to bring some of the leadership team together and have that conversation around, okay, what do we want to put our eggs in the baskets of, and what do we want to actually put a line through? You know, in saying no to these things, we can truly say yes to what we believe will be the drivers of our growth over the next couple of years. So I think that would be a really great conversation. The second would be delving in with some of your staff, and I encourage you to do this in the lead up to our conversation. What's their why for being a part of the Tiny Bear Distillery family? And are there nuggets of gold in there, and why they love their job, and why they get out of bed, and why they see there being great benefit working across the 2 sites that we can think about using as part of the storytelling of the brand, and actually not just making it about the product, but also making it about the team and the experience that people can come in and be a part of. So I think that would be a really helpful way of starting to to change the situation that you're having with some of the staff shortages by just letting it be known a little bit more about what the experience is actually like to be a part of the team here.
Yeah, awesome. I think that would make logical sense, and I think it's a direction we do need to take.
Well, it looks like Damien is in really good hands, and I can't wait to see how Holly can help the business move forward when she revisits the team at Tiny Bear Distillery. Monica, it's been wonderful having you on the show today. Some really fantastic tips.
Thanks, Kochie. So good to be here.
And remember, if you're looking for more tips or the latest news that affects your business, then you can get everything you need online at kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au or follow Kochie's Biz on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta and Twitter. See you all same time next week. Bye for now. Next week on Kochie's Business Builders, PR guru Sam Dybeck joins me as co-host. It's a sunshine day when Matt Alderton drops in on Michael and Lois Valentine at MB Solar. And when it comes to influencers, Taryn Williams shows she's got the right fit.